Heavy steps back, breathing. There isn't much time left. It might already be too late. I struggle to regain my senses. Okay, I'm not reading that.
Oh, great. I just got hit and ran by a vibrating foundation. Just my luck. At least you could help me up before the rest of you get melted by the sun or jackhammers itself into the Earth's mantle. Listen up, dickhead. I don't know who you think you are, but you got a lot of nerve down and not even bothering to help him back up. Since your mother didn't teach you manners, I'll let this one slide. By the looks of it, you're late for school as well, and by a stroke of once in a lifetime's luck, you just happen to bump into a prettiest girl in town. So I'll forgive you for your extreme transgression of laying your hands on a fair milady, madam. If you could tell me which way to go, since I seem to have gotten lost.
Actually, I'm lost.
Actually, oh. Might as well say that.
Just my luck. Although the rich respect, I guess you wouldn't be here with me right now if you weren't lost as well. Oh well, no point in crying over spilled blood. We might as well just wait for another student to come by and follow them instead. I'm Miss Mirage. I don't bother telling you my name though. I don't really.
You could do with being a bit nicer to people you've only just met.
Yeah, well you could do with a beatdown. So flip off.
I find that hard to believe considering how heated up you get from practically anything I say.
Don't flatter yourself. Blow off steam is just how I cope.
Oh, but what?
Everything. I mean, really take a moment to think about it. The human mind is complete vastness. It's capable of recognizing it's utterly helpless and useless in of an inevitable and unavoidable non-existence. But it's capable of coming to terms with it.
This is cooked.
We can only ignore it, hiding from it, or temporarily escape from it. But the fact is that we're born through the way of all things. Death is unavoidable, not only to us, but all existence, or ever has an existence. All living things will eventually die out. Every speck of matter will eventually wither away and dissipate into entropy. It doesn't matter if you live a good life or you've left a legacy behind. It doesn't matter if humanity survives for thousands of years or die out tomorrow. The end result is the same. Absolutely nothing. Human intelligence is far beyond of other animals, but it would be misguiding to consider that gift. All other beings have gifts or ignorance of not understanding. What do we do? Our intelligence is not a gift. It's a flaw. It's an overextension of evolution. Intelligence, once a great feature of aeons past, continue to grow unchecked and unfiltered, and has since passed a threshold whereupon it's no longer a benefit but active danger to its host. Much like the Irish ewe, a species of deer that through uncomfortable generations of evolution grew antlers so wild and vast that it could no longer run from its predators, eventually leading to its extinction.
Okay, my voice is actually killing me from this. I'm gonna speak a bit of fine.
Human mind is an evolution, a manipulation caused by going too far in directions that was once beneficial and once will sooner or later lead to our extinction. On an individual level, it's already happening. Extinctual dread is already taking hold. I'm sure you felt it too. The pain and fear of being nothing, becoming nothing. Suffering of understanding that we are unable to come to our own to terms with it, so we hide from actions. We set limits. We stop ourselves from thinking deeply about what will happen when we die. We create distractions. We keep our minds busy with mundane activities and entertainment to stop ourselves from having to come face to face with the truth. We sublimit it. We transform our self-reflective surfaces into another form art to keep it from consuming us. Anything to avoid the panic. But these ways are simply temporarily. They're just to push back the inevitable vein of helpless and despair that would compass and ruin of us. The end is nothing. There is no point in trying to find joy in life, for life itself is suffering.
You're wrong.
Huh?
You criticize those who consider our vast intellect. No. You criticize those who consider. Wait a second. Let me just get close to my mic. You criticize those who consider our vast intelligence a gift, and yet you misguide yourself to believe your meaningless. Our meaningless is a curse.
Oh, sorry.
How could it not be?
Nothing we do matter in the end, and that's precisely why we are not shackled by the burden of expectations, the fear of eternal judgment, and the failure to meet up to an arbitrary definition of what makes us limited, our limited time not wasted. Time cannot be wasted, for there not greater purpose to life than simply living it.
But still, in that case, meaningless of our actions draw to the same conclusion. There is no reason to act, for any action is simply a temporary flu action that will nevertheless lead to the same conclusion.
Quite the contrary. Because we have no greater purpose, we are free to set our own, to create self-defined goals for which to strive. For some it might be nothing, for some it might be pleasure, for some it might be creation, for some it might be improving the lives of others. It is because we have no greater purpose that time spent on goals set by oneself cannot be time wasted. In the end, nothing matters, and therefore you have no reason to do what you want rather than whatever illusion of greater purpose is forced on you by others or even by your own misguided thoughts.
I do understand what you mean. However, that doesn't ease my fear of the end. Even if we tried to find a purpose, I would still be paralyzed by the thought of becoming nothing.
And it is a thought we're fearing. However, abandoning purpose, hope, choice, goals, pleasure, and will not make that thought disappear. The fear, however, can subside. Giving up is not accepting the end, it's simply accepting the fear of it. It is embracing despair rather than facing it.
I see. Although, as much as I like to embrace it, I am nevertheless struck with the paralyzing existential panic. I understand it's logical, and I know that there's no reason to live in empathy, but my emotions side refuse to listen. I understand it's logical, and I don't know that there is a reason to live in empathy, but my emotions side refuse to listen, and the fear of persistence, and I cannot motivate myself to seek a purpose despite knowing I must.
This is true. This is true. The emotional is not controlled by the logical. However, they are interlinked. Just as the deepest, darkest depth of despair can overthrow reason and the logic, wrapping them to fit into that haze of depression, so too can reason influence and overpower emotion, regardless of how impenetrable it may seem. By con- by continually forcing to subvert those creeping negative thoughts with the positive logical ones, the emotional mind will eventually gradually start to shape to fit the logical. It is not an easy job. It is not a quick job. It will sometimes feel like an impossible job. However, it can be done. With an immense amount of time, effort, and energy, it will improve. You can change. You can heal. And during the hardest of times, when all seems lost and you want to give up, never forget, we will always love you.
Well, I'll be damned. I guess you a good head on your shoulders after all. Hell, I'm impressed. Man, I feel like I've just shed the weight of the world off my back. I'd rather you've done that for me. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You've given me a lot to think about, and while I'm sure I have a long, hard road ahead of me, I'm optimistic. For the first time in what feels like an eternity, I'm optimistic. We're already away too late for school, and it's gonna be quite clear by now that nobody's gonna come lead us there. How about you and I ditch the passion training pantry and go grab something to eat, eh?
Nah. Nah, say the bottom one, say the bottom one, say the bottom one.
No. Oh, you're paying though?
Yeah.
Okay, let me say nah.
Alright, suit yourself. Still offering a stand though, in case you change your mind at any point. See you
What?
around, lover boy. What?
What the hell?
That was awesome.